This is Histories and Mysteries. I'm Ashley.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Rochelle.
Yay, Rochelle's
Welcome
back.
Hello. I'm so glad to be back.
We're excited to have her back right in spooky season, the time that she shines.
Yes, absolutely. I'm stoked.
We are very excited. One thing I want to say at the top of this before we get going, just really quick, kind of a sad thing. So, trigger warning, child death. So if you don't want to hear about that, go ahead and just skip ahead about a minute. But I just I don't know, it's just been really heavy on me lately. But a kid I went to high school with, his second grader just passed away. And so if everybody can just send like whatever you believe in, thoughts, prayers, positive vibes to his family and their daughter, I would appreciate it. So just wanted to throw that out there, you know, all the positive thoughts and prayers and vibes that they can get right now.
For sure. That is always tragic.
Yeah.
And like Ashley and I were talking about it, and it just kind of hits home a whole lot harder now that we're parents.
Yeah.
So I find that stuff is a lot harder to take on now.
I cry at the drop of a hat now. Like,
Aww.
even for things that don't have to do with kids, I'm just so emotional now.
I don't have kids and I'm just as emotional. So it's all good.
So yeah, just want to throw that out there. But for those of you that skipped ahead, we're all done. So I'm sorry, Jessica, we didn't do that.
That's okay.
This week yet. Okay, go ahead, Jess. I got excited that Rochelle was back.
That's okay. So on this week, Ashley is going to be talking about, she has some exorcism stories from Reddit, and Rochelle is going to be telling a little story about personality types. And I'm excited because she gave us a couple quizzes to try and they were super fun. So
yeah, it's going to be a very interesting episode.
I'm excited to hear about the exorcisms. Exorcisms freak me out.
Oh my gosh, terrifying, right? Like terrifying. And I kind of did this as a cheat because for those of you that have heard our previous episodes, I have recently moved. So I am now in West Virginia and my house looks like a tornado went through it because I'm unpacking. So I haven't had a lot of time to research. So I kind of cheated a little bit, but then it turned out to be really good. So
now when you sing Take Me Home Country Roads by John Denver, it's like accurate for you. Going back to West Virginia.
I think I sang that in a couple episodes ago.
Oh gosh. Yeah, and I'm now on the same time zone as you guys.
Yes, that's helpful.
Yes, very helpful.
But you're gonna have a heck of a winter, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm excited. I miss snow. I haven't had snow in several years, so I'm very excited.
I'm not.
Me neither. Fall can stay forever.
I do love fall. I do love fall.
Yeah.
It's been very cloudy and rainy here, and I'm just loving it.
Yeah, same here. It's been pretty awful.
Oh, I love it.
Well, it just sucks because you can't really go outside, right? And go for walks and stuff. So
yeah, that's true.
I love watching the rain. I just don't
want to go out in it.
Yeah. With a baby.
Yeah. I get that.
What are you dressing up your children as?
Oh,
a pineapple.
A fox.
Oh, cute.
I like the pineapple.
So we watch a show called Psych, and a pineapple is just like an inside joke, and it just like shows up in a bunch of episodes. And so we got a pineapple costume for her before she was even born because of the show.
Oh, cute. That's like one thing I'd be excited for. Like if I ever have kids, like dressing them up.
Yeah, I know. It's
Rochelle, are you dressing any of your animal babies up?
Oz would never in a bajillion years let us do that. Fender, I don't know. He probably let me put him in something. We've put them in like a lion head before, which has been funny.
Cute.
But yeah, I don't know. My mom always dresses up her dog though.
Adorable. I love your mom.
She's very active in the
Hi,
community.
Rochelle's mom.
She's so adorable. She's so sweet at like responding to posts in our group, like our Facebook group. And
Yeah.
She's always like giving me suggestions, being like, read this book or do this. You should do this for the podcast.
That's so cute.
Like, when are you coming back? Oh, she can't stop laughing at Ashley's laugh.
My laugh. Why? Now I'm like all self-conscious about it. Well, thanks, Rochelle's mom.
Yeah, Cheryl's sweet. And my mom keeps wanting to come on the podcast. She's like, well, if your child wakes up, I'll just go take over for you for 20 minutes.
My mom doesn't listen, but she's very supportive. She just doesn't listen to podcasts.
Oh, okay. Talking about podcasts, Ashley recommended a podcast to me. I think it's called Noble Blood. Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I came to Sault Ste. Marie last week to visit family, and it's about a 6-hour drive without an infant. And it ended up being a 10-hour drive.
Oh.
Oy.
But
Oy.
that was because there was a ton of construction, and I also got out of the vehicle a few times to like go to the washroom and get her out of the car, and just like it was a beautiful day, so we could just go sit at some picnic tables and stretch our legs. But anyways, I listened to that podcast, and there are some really cool stories that I'm probably gonna cover in the future because they were freaking interesting. So
yeah,
that'll be fun.
Yeah, they cover. They're I'm pretty sure they're part of the Parcast network.
I don't know. I didn't recognize them as Parcast, but I wouldn't put it against them because Parcast is like
Parcast dominates.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely Noble Bloods is definitely like a professional podcast. Like it's not like us buddies hanging out doing it. It's like professionally. You can tell they're in a studio. Like
iHeartRadio.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have a podcast recommendation for like spooky season.
Ooh, what?
Sure. It's called The Midnight Library.
Nice.
Ooh.
And basically what it is real stories told through a fictional setting. So you're like invited to the Midnight Library, and the lady of the house like welcomes you in, and everybody's guests are all like monsters and stuff like that. Yes. And then she like sits down and reads you a story, and it's like a real thing. But and it's like this there's a disclaimer that's like this, we don't know where this is being filmed or whatever. Like it's really cool. So if you're into like kind of like breaches, fiction and nonfiction at the same time, and it's quite spooky and fun. So The Midnight Library.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
We'll put those both in our episode notes, just so that they're easy to access.
We will, but remind me because I will forget.
You're gonna be listening to this.
Yeah, but then when I'm done and I go to upload, I'll forget.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, well, I'm gonna jump into my spooky stories. So the first story I got is from a user called Sorkagen.
Nailed it.
I'm sure I did. So he said, or they say, I don't know if it's he or she or they say, a little backstory. My father was and has been a preacher and an evangelist since he was about 20 or even younger, really. He's now 52. We were at a mission trip to Yelenosk, Russia.
Oh man, it's probably nothing like
it's probably nothing like what I said. It's probably like Bob Russia.
Flashbacks to Dyatlov Pass.
So I was at a huge camp meeting, if you want to call me that. And this was in 1993. This took place in a huge auditorium, and it was only a few years after the Lenin Tower, I'm probably saying that wrong as well, was pulled down and the USSR was absolved. So the people here were either very radical, extreme, and militant groups, or like communist sympathizers. So kind of to give you an idea of the time of this, one time his father was holding a doll that he had bought as a souvenir, and they were walking to this Lenin memorial, and he had about 20 soldiers hold him at gunpoint. They had received a lot of terrorist threat and were being very cautious that there wasn't anything inside the doll. So just kind of the thought period of this time. So during this camp retreat thing that he was at, there was a lot of Russian teenagers and young adults. They say, I think somewhere around 10,000. The place was just huge. Along with that, there were 2 other couples, along with one gentleman, all from America, that had been in Russia for some time. They were kind of like the tour guide, so to speak. So they put in here, please keep in mind with all my responses that I'm not saying there's a God or there isn't. So take what you want from this. I was merely observing. It was terrifying as shit, though. So my father is praying for this lady. There's an interpreter with him, not because he wasn't fluent in Russian. She's shaking and crying the whole time with her arms just lying down at her sides. All of a sudden, when things start to seem to get intense, her eyes roll in the back of her head and she starts speaking some language that all the fluent Russian speaking people in the area swore they had not heard before. And honestly, it didn't sound like Russian at all. Gross. She then paused after about 10 seconds of that, looked at my father straight in the eyes, and I swear to everything that is holy, said to him in the most perfect American accent in English, in a man's voice, "This is my domain. You are not allowed here. You will suffer the lake of fire for your hearsay."
What?
Yeah. So, of course, this was a woman, probably mid to late 30s. So it scared the hell out of me. I was 8 years old at the time. That's the end of that one. Okay. It just kind of ends. Sorry.
That's funny.
They just kind of go on to talk about how, like, they're not religious. They're not, they're not here for religious debate. So anyway, I'm going to leave Jessica's favorite one for the very last.
Okay.
All right. So I don't have a user for this one, but I was raised up in a very conservative interdenominational Protestant church in Mexico. At this point in time, I'm like 19 and I've been a Christian my whole life, but I didn't believe in possession or demonic manifestations. My pastor led our temple to a Pentecostal church for a special event on a Sunday night, and I came by to see if there were any hot girls because it was on a second floor. Because it was on a second floor, I stayed by the stairs to watch the show. That's what I thought it was from a distance. They were singing and praying for some of the kids in the church. They had rescued some kids from the street. When this tiny girl, maybe 11 or 12, starts crying and shrieking like she was in a lot of pain. Horrible, horrible screams. So a couple of ladies come to her side and start praying louder with their hands extended to her. And then she starts laughing loudly like a cartoon villain. I was already kind of scared at this point, so I was ready to leave. Then the girl started running, her eyes like a wild animal, directly to the stairs where I was standing. At this point, 7 or 8 ladies tried to grab her, but she kicked and pushed all of them like nothing. She was like a wild animal. I'm scared, but I'm still very skeptical, thinking that she must just be, struggling from some kind of mental health breakdown or something like that. Then she ran directly to where I was, screaming and making these horrible animal sounds. She passes by me down the stairs, where 8 ladies plus 4 or 5 more finally got her restrained. While the ladies kept praying for her, she started cursing and screaming in a voice that was nothing like the girl's voice, just like in the movies. I was so scared, but I couldn't move. But what happened next almost made me wet my pants. A deep, stinking stench of sulfur started to fill my nose. No shit. At that point, I started to realize that this was no symptom of schizophrenia and something else was happening. I've never been so scared in my whole life. Unable to move, I just looked to the other side where the event and singing continued as if nothing was happening on the stairs. The moaning and the cursing continued for a little while, and then it stopped. I still didn't turn to see, but moments later, the ladies returned to the service with the girl, all covered in sweat, with a bit of just like, what the fuck just happened face, but looking like a normal 11-year-old girl.
Ew.
Yeah.
Worse when it's kids.
Yeah.
What's the consensus on like rabies?
That's an interesting thought. Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that those can manifest as looking like a possession.
Well, because like he said that she's looked like a wild animal, and I mean
Yeah.
they act crazy, right? So
Yeah. But isn't rabies kind of like easily testable?
yeah, but I mean, like they're a religious group, right?
Yeah.
So they probably were like, "Oh, this is divine intervention. We need
Yeah.
to do something for this girl."
Yeah. Yeah. It
And you
probably
know,
is.
like when this was, because it could have been like early.
It didn't say.
Yeah, so it could have been like way back when it wasn't really a thing, and it was kind of the craze of exorcisms, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's an interesting thought, you know.
Yeah.
So this one, a bit of a trigger warning for suicide. So this is from I Have Two Arms, Yay. That's the user.
So do I.
Wow. So I witnessed one when I was 17. My best friend at the time's father was a youth minister and was invited to one to assist/study it since it was his first exorcism. And he invited me to go along since he knew I was a skeptic. It was late summer 2003 in a small town in Florida. Present was a priest, cardinal, my father's friend, myself, and the boys present. As far as I know, it wasn't documented with the church. However, my friend's dad did audio tape it to study later. It was very creepy. The boy couldn't have been any more than 9 years old. He was very jittery and honestly mean. He would spit, scream, and even hiss at the people performing the exorcism. He would literally couture?
Contour? Oh no.
No.
What is that word?
Yeah. Couture. It's not couture. That's
No.
fancy. That's fashion.
Isn't it like contouring? Yeah, you can contour your body, no?
I don't think that's the word.
Read the sentence.
He would literally something his body in ways that would make a person cringe.
Contort.
Yeah, it's probably contort his body.
Contort. Okay, that's not what he wrote. He would literally contort his body in ways that would make a person cringe. The scariest thing was that he kept saying Balaam and other words or phrases in Hebrew. The fact that he was 9 and knowing who Balaam and speaking small parts of Hebrew was bone chilling. After about 2 hours of nothing but hearing everyone pray and the boy scream, the exorcist kind of just gave up, saying at this point there was no more hope. A few months later, he killed himself.
Oh no. The 9-year-old?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay, this one is from something. That's the username, something.
Oh. Okay.
I saw some really weird shit in my life. And one of those things is very close to an exorcism. First, some background. First of all, English is not my main language. And as I said, I saw several weird things since I was a little boy. And while I'm not extremely open about it, I have no problem talking about it with open-minded people. About 10 years ago, I'm 33 now, my girlfriend at the time took me to meet one of her childhood friends, a very shy girl of our same age. Her mother was a tarot card reader.
Ooh.
And as soon as she saw me, the mother, she started to talk with me, telling me that I was special and asking me out of nowhere at what age I started to see things. The thing is, my girlfriend hasn't talked to this family in several years, so I was kind of surprised. Long story short, she invites me back to a Black Line Umbanda meeting, and I agree to go so long as my girlfriend goes too. I don't know what that is, but a couple of hours later, the four of us walk about half a mile from the house to what appears to be an abandoned factory. There was about 20 other people there, mostly in the 30 to 50-year-old age range. The first part of the meeting was pretty standard Afro-Brazilian ceremony with chanting, dancing, drums. I was just standing there on the corner with my girlfriend and her friend looking at everything, but not really taking part of anything. Then his mom came to where we were and told us to gather with the rest of the group as her favorite part was coming up. They wrote the incorporation ? That is my translation from Spanish to English. I don't know if there's a more accurate word, but the idea is to call spirits so they possess somebody for the rest of the ceremony. After some furious chanting and dancing, the priestess, it means mother in Portuguese, came to where we were and blows the smoke from a cigar into my girlfriend's face. And that's when things go really weird, because all of a sudden my girlfriend is not my girlfriend anymore. Her eyes are different. She stands in a different way with a different attitude. And all of a sudden she starts speaking fluid Portuguese. I do speak some basic Portuguese, and even I had no idea what she was saying. She danced like she had never danced before. She was singing and screaming in a voice that wasn't hers. And honestly, it just wasn't her. It's hard to explain, but she's just not her. She was someone else. I can't really explain how freaked out I was at the moment. I tried to talk her out of it, shake her, slap her gently. I'm not a beast, but nothing worked. She just laughs at me and goes back to dancing and singing. And she's not the only one like that. At least half of the people present are doing the same, screaming, dancing, guttural voices, women talking in men's voices, walking like men. I don't really know how you walk like a man, but all sorts of weird shit. And remember my shy friend? Well, at some point of the ritual, she comes to me barefoot. I didn't read this whole story. And this is
She naked.
she comes to me barefoot and topless, tells me something in Portuguese, and French kisses the shit out of me.
Oh.
Turns around and resumes whatever the fuck she was doing like nothing. This part lasted like an hour and a half until the May started to dismiss the spirits by screaming at them and hitting them with a bunch of dried herbs. She did this to my girlfriend. She fell to the floor crying. I helped her to stand back up, and she wasn't crying anymore. She was happy and feeling great, just a little confused. She didn't remember what happened at all.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I have one more, and then Jess's favorite one.
Oh, I thought it was my favorite one.
I was present in an exorcism. Oh, this is by Derping Llamas.
Ooh.
I was present in an exorcism. It was on my half sister in Colorado. I think it was 2005. My mother, father, a priest, and I were present. And what happened still haunts my dreams. Apparently, my sister had been missing school for 2 weeks. Why? She was having multiple mental breakdowns at random moments and would also get into rage fits. It was very gradual, not so sudden, not like bam, possessed, just like little quirks building up. It first started when I noticed her scratching at the table during dinner time. She would just scratch and scratch and scratch at the table, ignore anyone talking to her, ignore her food, ignore everything, just scratch. She dug halfway through the table, and it wasn't like she was doing some weird movements. She would sit up straight with her hand on the table, scratching, just staring into space.
Ew.
The next thing I noticed was her mood swings. She would be so loving towards everyone, go into her room, come out, and be the meanest person. Sometimes she would start sobbing or just start laughing. It was disturbing. One time she said she hated me, hoped I would die, hoped I would burn in hell. Then it was like a light switch. She started smiling and saying she loved me and would hug me. After a week of this, it started to get faster, more mood swings, more breakdowns. She had a rage fit in her middle school and ended up throwing all of her and her classmates' trays clear across the lunch hall. Then she would start to sob. Then she would laugh. Then she would go into this eerie state where she just looked straight ahead and wouldn't respond to anything. I didn't hear from her for a week. She never left her room during the suspension. Whenever I asked my mom or dad, they would just shush me and tell me that she was fine. Then I decided to look. I opened the door. Mind you, I was only 12, and I saw her scratching at the walls. There was a big pile of drywall, and she was almost to the other side. She had this deranged look on her face. Her eyes were bloodshot, wide open. She wore this nasty looking stained green and brown jumper. I don't even think she went to the bathroom, considering the smell from the room.
Ugh.
She kept scratching. As I examined the room, and when I looked back at her, she looked up. She started breathing from her mouth heavily and then ran at me. I slammed the door quickly. I heard her fumbling with the doorknob and breathing heavily. Then she started to scream. She wailed and wailed all night. I ended up sleeping with my parents. The next day, a priest came over. I remember my mom was crying and my dad has tears in his eyes, but like none fell. The priest, me, and my mom and my dad went to the room together. I remember there was some candle lit. It was supposed to ward off evil spirits. He started to chant something, and I was forced to put my hands on her body and pray with them. I remember my sister began twitching, and then her arm started to twist. She became wailing, and I shit you not, she turned to me clear as day and said, you do not belong here. You are a demon. You are the reason I am this. You little bitch, you will burn in hell.
Holy.
And then the priest said some words that touched a nerve. I think it was Jesus or something. Her attention turned to him, and I yet again, shit you not, she started speaking some odd language. She doesn't even know a different language. It sounded like Pig Latin or something odd like that. Then it almost seemed like she started to have a seizure. Then when I couldn't take it anymore, I ran. I ran out of the bedroom into my own, jumped onto my bed, curled up in the blankets. I waited for what seemed like hours until my parents called me into the living room. I entered and saw my sister. She was acting normal, like nothing happened. It was eerie. After that, we all had nightmares. My mom said she had seen a black mass floating over my bed as I slept. My father said he had seen a dark figure running to and from my bedroom to theirs. Well, that's my story.
Yuck.
That's terrifying.
No,
That was, I think, the best one. All right, here's Jessica's favorite.
I had a question first.
Yes.
Do you guys believe in exorcisms?
Not in like the religious sense, no.
Like, do you think it could be a mental disorder?
I think it's most likely,
Yeah.
I do believe in exorcisms. I do believe that most of them are a mental disorder or something going on mentally, but I do believe that there are a few here and there that are legit.
Okay.
So non-denominational church, spring of 2009. I was invited to a house of prayer. I went because my father recently lost his job and I was having tons of issues with this girl I was dating. So I was like, why not? There were 2 exorcisms that night. One of them was on a college male who had the spirit of pornography. None of the people present were ordained by any accredited seminary. Basically, this guy just starts getting into like getting really fucking weird. Everyone is praying over him, reciting Bible verses. The gentleman spitting, laughing, convulsing. They decided they were going to talk to the demon. They asked him, "What is your name, demon, and where are you from?" I kid you not. This guy, in all of his demon-possessed convulsing rage, says the demon's name is Steve. And that he came from South Carolina. And he asserted that he was not going anywhere.
Steve.
I was really concerned and had no idea what was going on until the gentleman said that the demon's name was Steve. I can't take Exorcist-esque movies serious anymore because all I can picture is the person being possessed by a white IT guy in polo wearing sandals. Name Steve.
I love it.
Oh gosh.
Steve.
The demon Steve.
Rochelle, you should make a picture of that.
Steve
the demon. Yeah, we'll make it into a sticker.
Steve the IT demon.
All right, so that is some of my exorcism stories. And we got obviously our Halloween episode's coming up. So the next time I do a story, I'll make it a spooky one too. But Rochelle, I'm super excited to hear about personality traits.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I've been like really into researching like personality systems and stuff like that lately, and go through like the 2 biggest system personality typing because they're really interesting, and they're just fun, I think. So what are your takes on personality tests?
I think they're really interesting, and like I said, like when you sent the different quizzes over, like I've been ISFJ for as long as I can remember, so
yeah.
So the Myers-Briggs one, the one you were just talking about, we did a whole kind of in study, what do they call, like when you have a meeting that everybody has to go to during the day? It's like a whole day.
A mandatory meeting?
No,
like
whatever.
Conference.
We had this meeting at my
Seminar?
work. And we have a couple people at my old job that were certified in Myers-Briggs. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah. So we all took the test and then they went through and like talked about, all of our different personality types, and then kind of talked about how we work together, how we work best, and that kind of stuff. So it was pretty interesting.
I like it. Like, I think even if you're not into it or you don't believe it, I still think like there's aspects of it that are just too coincidental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I am going to talk about the two major ones. So the Myers-Briggs being one and the Enneagram of personality being the other one. So I wanted to start with the Enneagram. It's newer, it's less known, and because two of us actually share the same one. And then Myers-Briggs were all different. So we'll get to that second.
Perfect.
So have you heard of the Enneagram personality before?
No.
I hadn't until you sent it
No?
to us.
All right. So it's a system of personality typing that describes patterns in how people interpret the world and manage their emotions. It describes 9 personality traits and 9 personality types and maps each on a 9-point diagram that illustrates how the types relate to each other. So this one's all about like your number. Enneagram itself comes from the Greek words ennea for 9 and grandma, something written or drawn.
I thought you said grandma.
That's what I
It
thought.
does say grandma. And
Oh.
it's how I say and spell grandma too. Gramma.
Oh,
Okay.
My grandma's probably watching or
Grandma.
listening. Hi, Graham. So what does it mean? Each personality type is defined by a particular core belief about how the world works. It drives your fears and motivations and shapes a person's worldview and the perspective through which they see the world and others around them. Understanding your Enneagram type can help broaden your perspective and deal with situations more effectively. It can help us see why people behave in certain ways. It also helps us to understand how people react to stress and can offer opportunities for personal development.
Ooh.
Awesome.
So that's what it looks like.
Ooh.
It kind of looks like a little witchy thing.
Yeah, how would you
Yeah.
describe that for the listeners at home?
I was thinking like a weird hexagram. I just said hexagram because I was thinking of a
Kind
pentagram.
of does like a.
It does
it's
look like
a
a-
mix of a Star of David and
Yeah.
a pentagram.
Yeah.
Pentagon?
So it's a circle, and then it's got like a triangle, and then a bunch of other pointy sides.
And a square.
Yeah,
So
middle.
the circle represents the unity of human life, while its
Ew.
other shapes are how it's divided. The types on either side of each core are called wings, and they're related to the personality styles. So wings. So for example, if we're looking at personality type number 9,
Did you draw that?
yeah. The wings are the
Damn.
numbers on either side.
Okay. So it's like if you were to take a circle and kind of like
Like if you're
pie it
reading the
out.
clock and 12
Yes.
is your number, then 11 and 1 would be the wings.
We'll put
Perfect.
some photos in our Instagram post.
Yeah.
So the wings are related types that we can transition to in order to develop new facets of ourselves. So we can basically expand ourselves into parts of the numbers on either side of our number.
Interesting.
Oh, okay.
And then the two that are connected by lines. So for 9, that would be 6 and 3. Are the traits that you have left behind or repressed, and then what you might grow into. So like what you left in the past and what you could potentially
Oh.
become in the future.
Awesome.
So there's a lot of room for like maneuverability and change. So
Yeah.
it's not like you're just this one thing and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course people don't work like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Your basic type is largely influenced by biological factors, but also by your environmental influence that you had growing up. So not only about like your genetic makeup, stuff like that, but it's about how you grow up and the environment that you grew up around.
Okay.
So a little bit about the history. The Enneagram system doesn't have a concrete origin story,
Oh.
but it does have quite the eclectic history. Some believe the origins lie in ancient Babylon around 4,500 years ago, while some say classical Greek philosophy around 2,500 years ago. That's so
crazy.
old.
Yeah.
It has been attributed to the Jewish Kabbalah, Christian mysticism, and Sufism, a mystical form of Islam. So it's like been found in a bunch of major religions. There are theories of Dante having knowledge of the system since the characters in the Divine Comedy fit the 9 types.
Oh,
that's pretty cool too. The modern Enneagram system is the work of contemporary authors like Georg Ivanovich Gurdjieff, who introduced the model as a spiritual symbol in the 1930s, and it came to America in the 1960s. So even though it's possibly 4,500 years old, only came to North America in the 60s.
That's weird.
crazy.
Yeah. Claudio Naranjo, a psychiatrist, learned through the works of Oscar Ichazo, and is and is known for introducing the Enneagram to the field of modern psychology. Most researchers now focus on the psychological side, drawing parallels to other models like the Myers-Briggs system, which we'll get into later. The 9 Enneagram types are divided into 3 subtypes. So we have the heart type, which, spoiler alert, all 3 of us are heart types.
Oh, that's fun.
So the hearts depend on their emotional intelligence to understand their own reactions and connect with others.
Yep.
So head types depend on their intellectual intelligence to make sense of things and navigate the world.
That'd be my husband.
my boyfriend too. And then the body types, which is dependent on their instinctual intelligence to follow their gut and respond to threats and opportunities.
We should get our significant others to take that quiz.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, and see if they're all the same, just like we are.
So the heart types, I'll get into them a little bit deeper. Heart types, maybe I'll save heart types for last because we're heart types.
Okay.
So head types react with analysis first. Yep. They connect on an intellectual level and make sense of the world by understanding the systems and theories that underlie what they observe. They are focused on control, stability, security, and competence. So the 3 types are number 5, 6, and 7. So the investigators, being type 5, seek understanding and knowledge and are more comfortable with data than with people. They fear being overwhelmed by their needs and the needs of others. So type 6 are the skeptics. They're preoccupied with security and seek safety. They like to be prepared for problems. They fear being underprepared and unable to defend themselves from danger. And the 7s are the enthusiasts. They want to have as much fun and adventure as possible and are easily bored. They fear experiencing emotional pain, especially sadness.
Oh.
So the body types of the 8, 9, and 1 react with an instinctive gut feeling. They connect with others based on their physical sense of comfort. They use their body's reaction to make sense of the world. They want to maintain independence and limit control from outside influences. They respond by being overly controlling, passive, or perfectionistic.
Oh.
So they are number 8, the challengers, who see themselves as strong and powerful. They seek to stand up for what they believe in. They fear being powerless, so they focus on controlling their environment. So 9, the peacemakers like to go with the flow and let the people around them set the agenda. Oh, gosh, that is so not me. They fear pushing people away by prioritizing their own needs and tend to be passive.
That's me. I'm extremely passive, and I'd rather if everybody else plan things for me. Like one time my husband asked like what I wanted to do for dinner for my birthday, and I said, for my birthday, I want you to pick where we go because I just don't want to make a decision.
See, and I like to be the one in control and to plan everything and be organized.
No, not me.
So number 1, the perfectionists place a lot of emphasis on following rules and doing things correctly. They fear being imperfect and being extremely strict with themselves and others.
How is that not me?
Because the heart types are you. React with emotions first.
That's true. I do that.
They connect on an empathetic level and make sense of the world by understanding their feelings about it. They are guided by the feelings connected to their emotional relationships with others. They value emotional support, recognition, and inclusion. So those are types 2, 3, and 4. So I'll start with type 3 because that's the one that none of us are, which is the achiever.
Oh no.
Oh, dang.
Want to be successful and admired and are very conscious of their public image. They fear failure and not being seen as valuable. So then we have type 2, which is Ashley. She is a giver who wants to be liked and find ways that they can be helpful to others so they belong. They fear being unlovable.
Oh, that's really sad. That's also very much me.
And then number 4, which is me and Jess, the individualists, which is funny because it's 2 of us against one other.
Sucker.
So we want to be unique and experience deep, authentic emotions. They fear that they are flawed and are overly focused on how they are different.
Yes.
So I'm going to start with you might be a 2 if for Ashley.
Okay.
Might be a 2 if you struggle with saying no to needs around you.
Ashley.
You might be
Ashley.
you might be a 2 if you need to be needed.
I don't know if I need to be needed, but I need to be wanted.
There.
Yes.
Might be a 2 if you care deeply about others and get joy from serving others.
I do that. I do like that.
Might be a 2 if you struggle with asking for or accepting help.
I'm getting better at it.
It might be a 2 if you're aggressive and stressed and creative and you're feeling good.
No. I don't think
No, you
I'm
don't think so?
aggressive though.
Oh, I mean, like aggressive for me.
I think aggressive for you.
Well, and I was gonna say, I think probably ask my husband. He might disagree.
You might be a 2 if you need to please everyone.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
You might be a 2 if you're compassionate, even towards the opposing side.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jess. That's nice.
I have someone in my mind and I don't know if she listens, so I don't want to say her name.
Oh. Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's really funny. You might be a 2 if you feel valuable when doing something valuable. You might be a 2 if you get a boost when someone notices and appreciates your care.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Like, if it's so stupid, like if I like clean a room or something and Cody comes home and is like, oh, babe, it looks really nice. I'm like, oh, thanks.
And you might be a 2 if your empathy makes you a safe space for others.
Oh, that's nice.
It does.
Oh, thanks, Jess.
Are you
You're
ready to
welcome.
get called the fuck out, Jess?
No. Because your guys is not as nice.
At least we're in it together.
You might be a 4 if there's nothing worse than bad taste.
Yep.
You might be a 4 if you desperately crave love and acceptance for who you are, but at the same time desire to be fundamentally different from everyone else.
Yep.
You might be a 4 if people open up quickly and trust you with their feelings and emotions.
That's nice.
You might be a 4 if self-expression means everything to you. If you can't get something done without your own creative spin, then it's not worth doing.
Oh, no.
Not so much me.
That was me, big time. You might be a 4 if overthinking is the name of the game.
Oh, fuck.
I can jump in on that one too. I way overthink.
You might be a 4 if living in nostalgia is more comfortable than living in the present.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Aww.
You might be a 4 if you can always spot the phony.
Oh, 100%.
That's me. I can spot a liar fucking mile
Oh,
away.
yeah.
I can smell them.
I really struggle with that.
My friend was with a person and I had never even met this person and I knew that they were bad news.
Mm,
Like
I'm the
I
same
knew
way.
it. and they ended up being bad news. And it's like,
I
how?
probably friended them and then got screwed over.
Yes.
But you see the best in everyone. That's nice.
Yeah.
This one I kind of laughed at. You might be a 4 if even the breakfast cereal you chose this morning was a matter of the heart.
What?
That's cute.
You might be a 4 if you're on a never-ending search for self-discovery and the deeper meaning behind everything ever.
Yep.
Ever.
And you might be a 4 if you're too sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Way too sensitive.
Me too.
Rochelle and I can attest to that.
Oh my god.
It's funny because like you can tell that those are all in the same heart category, because I think I identified with some of those in your category, and I think you guys identified with some in mine as well.
All right, so that's all about the Enneagram. So on to the one that everybody knows already, the Myers-Briggs personality assessment.
Ooh.
So you both already knew about this, and you both already knew what your types were, which is pretty cool.
Well, Ashley was wrong about hers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You like corrected right away though, which I think was very reflective of your personality type. All right. It's the most widely used and most recognized personality tool in the world.
Oh,
That's insane. So history. It began in the early mid 20th century with Catherine Cook Briggs and her daughter Isabel. This next bit is funny. Catherine noticed that Isabel's future husband, Clarence Myers, had a different way of seeing the world. So they're like, my daughter's husband's fucking weird. And was inspired to research personality type theory. She began he's so weird. She was inspired to research personality types.
Can you imagine?
She began a literature review to understand different temperaments. In 1921, Carl Jung published Psychological Types. Briggs read the English translation and saw similarities with her ideas, although Jung was much more developed. Together, Briggs and her daughter wanted to make his ideas more accessible. World War II had much influence on the development of the project. Myers thought that if people, the daughter, Isabel, thought if people understood each other better, they'd get along better and there wouldn't be as much conflict. So that's kind of like the premise of your conference, Ashley.
Yeah.
Wanting to give people access to their psychological type, Myers developed a type indicator. She spent 20 years developing what became the MBTI instrument in theory.
Wow, 20 years.
That's crazy.
So there are 16 personality types according to the MBTI, and they indicate personality preference in 4 different areas. So they're a sequence of letters that you're either one or the other. So it's extroversion or introversion. So it's where you focus your attention, whether you're an extrovert or an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
Will you like look outside or inside? There's sensing or intuition. So it's how you take in info. Thinking or feeling, how you make decisions. Judging or perceiving, how you deal with the world. The 4 letters that make up your type can help you understand yourself and how you interact with others. So we are Ashley, ENFP.
Yes.
So you are energetic and motivational by nature.
I feel like I have 0 energy lately, but sure.
Jess, ISFJ. You are considerate, kind, and you have a strong sense of commitment.
Aww.
And
What?
Is that accurate?
Absolutely not. You're a horrible human.
I'm
just kidding.
I knew it.
And then me, I am INFJ. So compassionate, quietly inspiring, and enjoy helping others grow and develop.
Cute.
Wait, were you both eyes?
Yeah.
My little introverted baby.
Jess and I are just 1 letter off.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because we have the same other type.
Yeah.
All right. Versus the Enneagram versus the MBTI. Both systems exhibit a number of correlations. So ones are usually have a J in their Myers-Briggs. Twos usually have an F.
Wait, what was that again? A 2?
You were a 2.
And I have an F.
And you have an F.
Look at
that. Threes are usually E or T's. Fours are usually INFPs or INFJs.
Hey, I was one letter up. I was ISFJ.
Yep. And fives are usually INTPs or INTJs. Sixes usually have an I or an S. Sevens have an E or a P. Eights are ENTJs or ESTJs. And nines are INFPs and ISFPs.
Cool. Nice.
So that's a little bit about personality types.
I actually I sent this to Rochelle, and I'm going to tell you your best career types.
Yes, I forgot about that because this is funny. I like
these were really funny.
Yeah. I saw that in the group today.
Yeah, it was in the and that's why we drink podcast group.
Right, read it for us, Ashley.
Okay, what are you guys again? I forgot.
ISFJ.
ISFJ. You are the sensible helper. So you could be a wig model, a shed consultant, a battle orc, or a seat filler at an award ceremony.
Yes.
Rochelle, what were you again?
INFJ.
Oh, you were okay. INFJ. Where's that? There it is. You are a compassionate weirdo. I think that fits you so well.
Out of all the personality types, I swear to God, they get called out the hardest.
So you could be a taco historian, a snake groomer, a fortune cookie writer, or a spokesperson for adult diaper cream. And mine is a resourceful thinker. I could be a werewolf, a snail expert, a time wizard, or a dinosaur impersonator.
Whoa, I love it.
One with a dinosaur impersonator. Love it. Oh, this was great. We'll post that picture up there of what was the first one called again?
Oh, the
Enneagram.
Yeah, we'll post that on there. And we'll post the links to the 2 tests that we took if you guys want to figure out which you are. Yeah. Well, if you want more of us 3 lovely ladies, you can find us on Facebook at Histories and Mysteries. We are on TikTok, Histories and Mysteries Podcast, and we are on Instagram, Histories and Mysteries.
Our TikTok is Histories and Mysteries Pod.
That one too.
Oh, should we? I brought my new tarot deck. Should we pull a tarot card for the end?
Oh,
yeah.
We wanted to stop somebody.
Stop.
All right. We pulled the Page of Imps, which is the Page of Wands in a regular deck, but this is a Halloween deck.
Ooh, I love it.
Ooh, so cool.
So the page is like the youngest of the court cards, so it's like new, all about like curiosity and beginnings. And then the wands are the earth symbol, so it's like new beginnings, maybe like new interactions with your nature, stuff around you.
Cute. I'm going for a walk on Thursday.
Going for a good walk. Yeah, so you should take the advice of the Page of Imps. Go for a walk.
Love it. All right, listeners, you hear that? Everybody get out and go for
That's
a walk.
That's your homework for the week. Go for a walk. There we go.
Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. And go ahead, Jess.
What?
Well, if you'd like to rate and review us, we would really appreciate it. It helps us to get out there to more people. So I hope everybody has a great week, and we look forward to bringing you 2 new stories next week. Bye.